All right. Long time no video, guys. So today, I want to quickly kind of discuss. Quite recently, right? So I made a video. Let me go ahead and turn on this light for you guys so you can see me a little better. So I made a video, or not a video. I made a review not too long ago talking about MK11 and some of the things that MK11 teaches. I kind of want to make this a more positive video while also being able to talk a little bit about a mechanic of the game that I really hope they change for the next game. I think this was one of the main reasons the strike throw concept didn't really work very well. You know, I've been pretty vocal about like why I think crushing blow throws should exist. A lot of characters in this game struggle from this version of shimmying, which I will discuss in a minute. But first, before we do that, I want to go and talk about the review that I made about MK11. It's my 4,000 hour review of this game. I've been playing this game forever. I have literally sacrificed like a lot to play this game and enjoy it and like learn it and play competitively. I've learned so much from this game. It's one of the main reasons I was able to get that top 5 at DNF Duel. I've taken a lot of fundamentals from MK11 and just applied them to so many other games. And don't let anyone tell you that all fighting games are so different. Like, there are a lot of components to fighting games that make you get better in other games. It doesn't matter what the game is. People can make fun of MK all they want. They could say that it's not a game, true fighting game. I get that all the time in completely different discords. They focus on anime games, Street Fighter, whatever. MK has taught me what I know today and has made me better at fighting games. So I just want to quickly go over the review that I made. It's a very short review. All I said was I want to dispel all the rumors that this game is not good. Mortal Kombat 11 is great if you want to learn fighting game fundamentals. It teaches you the following: jailing, shimmying, footsies, mind game, risk reward. I put over 3,000 hours into this learning fighting games from this game. This is objectively good to learn the fundamentals, so give it a go. I would also kind of throw teching in there. So the two things I want to mention is jailing and footsies. There's a lot of footsies in MK11. I know there's some characters that don't play footsies traditionally, but there's a lot of footsies in MK11. I learned a majority of my footsies and all the whiff punishing I do in Street Fighter. And DNF Duel with Striker, of all characters, is from MK11. Jailing is a little bit kind of more subjective. I understand flawless block on hit, but it is still a huge component of the game. Not everyone's going to be flawless blocking on hit 24/7. A lot of players have figured out that that's not always the best option. You only really want to throw it out every once in a while. So I feel like that's an important thing. And then mind games, obviously there's mind games in every fighting game, and MK11 is no different. And risk reward is a huge component of Mortal Kombat 11. It's one of the main reasons that people don't like Fatal Blow. So I definitely think there's a lot of risk reward in Mortal Kombat 11. So now on to the video. I just wanted to quickly, talk about my review and kind of my opinions on it. There's really not much more else to say about MK11. I think it's a solid game. I think if you were to choose all the NRS games to compete in, I feel like this would have been the best one to learn fighting game fundamentals from, outside of the one issue of flawless block. Like, I'm not going to deny that flawless block is a huge kind of thorn in the side from MK11, but I think outside of that, like, a lot of components of Mortal Kombat 11 are really well designed, in theory, right? There's going to be different applications in other games, like, for example, like anti-airing is going to be a little bit easier in other games, like things like that, but anti-airing still exists in this game. You see it all the time when competing, whether it be flawless blocking or actual jabs. Like, sometimes people read the jump and they just jab you out of the air and combo you. Anyway, let's get on to the video. So this is why you guys get here, the meat and potatoes. I'm going to make it super short. So this is an issue that I did have with 11 that I think that they can change in the next game. I think it's one of the main reasons that people keep mashing pokes. There's two problems with this issue, right? There's two problems. The first problem that we're going to talk about that I think makes it a little bit more harder to shimmy. It makes it actually easier to shimmy in other fights. This game is a strike throw game, and it is harder to shimmy in this game than it is other strike throw games like Street Fighter. It's harder to shimmy in this game because of how the components of Mortal Kombat 11 work. So first of all, what powers the throw system in this game, right? There's two components that power the throw. Well, technically three. There's three components that power the throw system in this game. The first component is that throws are reactable. That changes all of, like, every other fighting game where throws are not reactable. That is completely different design. Not, you know, in one game you're reading throws, another game you're reacting to them and kind of predicting when you should read a throw, right? So that's one thing that powers this game. The other thing that powers this game, and I'm ignoring crushing blow throws because if you don't tech at all, you'll never have to deal with a crushing blow throw. So I'm just going to completely ignore crushing blow throws if you don't tech at all, right? The other component of throws that makes this game, that powers this game, is that the fact that some throws loop you, or throws will loop you in the corner. So, you know, obviously forward throw and back throw is going to loop you depending on where you are in the corner. So that's another thing that powers throws in this game. The fact that some characters have throws that loop mid-screen, and other characters, their pressure is so important that you end up taking throws in the corner. So why does this power Mortal Kombat 11? The reason why this powers Mortal Kombat 11 is because the majority of the game does not have overheads, right? A lot of the characters in this game, their only overhead is a short hop, which is not it's just not going to work in like offline setting. It's just not going to work, right? So why am I getting to this? Well, because there's one component of the game that's actually hard to implement with a lot of characters, and that is shimmying, right? In traditional fighting games, most throws aren't reactable, so you're going to get shimmied easier because you're not looking for the throw to react. You're more so reading when the throw is coming. Therefore, you get shimmied trying to read a throw and tech a throw or jump or whatever, you get shimmied. I consider in certain situations, like even if you're trying to read a throw, you're technically getting shimmied because you're still trying to read the throw and anticipate when the throw is going to come. So why is this a problem in Mortal Kombat 11? Well, because there's kind of this issue with the concept of shimmying in this game. So for example, there's two kind of major components. The first major component is that some characters have auto shimmies. So like you don't really have to like traditionally shimmy. You don't have to walk people down with an auto shimmy. You just throw the button out, and if they react to the throw, they're going to get hit because they're trying to tech within that window. So that's a weird component where like people just get hit because they're getting shimmied, but they're not getting shimmied a traditional way. So that's a component that we might want to think about. Like, do we want that in our game for the next game? Do we want auto shimmies to exist? I'm sure there's auto shimmies that exist in other games that people just have not explored. That's irrelevant. It doesn't matter. The whole point is that, like, should auto shimmying exist? Because that's the big component. That's kind of the high-end component of, okay, there's a huge strike throw in this game, and therefore that character is going to be very powerful because they don't have to traditionally shimmy you. They just throw the button out and you get shimmied. The other component is, and we're ignoring DuckOS and we're ignoring all OSs. We're focusing on the idea of being shimmied in this game. The other component is what I like to call the poke OS, or like some sort of poke-like OS, right? So the problem with this game is that you don't tech with a standing button. I don't know why, like this is not something that has never been mentioned. I've never heard this mentioned anywhere. You don't tech with a standing button, you can tech with a poke. So a lot of the times you get in a situation, I'm gonna show Frost as an example because this happens to me all the time as Frost, because I can't pick my correct shimmy timing because people change when they're gonna mash. So it makes it harder for Frost to throw out her mid because at a certain timing, they can just OS the option very easily. So for example, if I'm Frost here and I'm shimmying, I'm actually going to just set each individual one and you'll be able to see it. So if I'm Frost here, right, and I walk Johnny down, right? So first I'm going to do this, walk him down, do a back, or walk him down, do a back one. Hold on. So that's a very brief walk down, right? So there, if Johnny mashes, he gets hit, right? Now watch what happens when I do this same thing and I do a delayed high. Right? So now we're gonna set her to do this again. So as you can see here, I don't even have, like, if he down ones immediately, I don't have time to walk him down, right? So now you're going to assume, okay, we'll just do the early mid. If you do the early mid, he's going to get hit. So if you try to like almost like jail into mid, sometimes you can't really, but you know, because you're not plus enough. But let's just assume like because down one I can jail into it. This is what's going to happen. So you see there, if you look in the bottom or in the left corner, I'm actually down oneing there. But for some reason, the way that the game works, I don't know if it has to do with jailing, Johnny's not getting hit. So what this means is, even though Frost is walking me down and throwing out the mid, Johnny is still able to block the mid. Which means I have to like super delay my mid. Which means I have to pick the perfect timing to stop him from down oneing me immediately. There's like a specific timing. I still have not gotten it down to this day. I've practiced so much time trying to get it down, and people still mash when I walk them down or when I try to throw out a high, because the high's a high. So they're gonna mash out of the high unless I like attempt to jail, which goes back to the original point that I was saying about the mid. If I throw out the high, they're not gonna get hit. And even if it was like, I'd have to jail immediately. I'd have to react to them getting hit and like instantly jail the high regardless, because that's just how jailing works in this game. So why is this a problem? Well, this is a problem because what happens here is this too. Let's have him do a back throw. Hold on. Saw that? So that's me down oneing. So as you can see now, Johnny's doing two things. He's mashing down one because he's noticing he's getting thrown and his finger's already on the down one button. He's also, when I go to throw, he can delay his duck and down one you while you're throwing. So there's two bad components to the, there's actually three or four bad components to this. So the first thing is that the way that jailing works in this game, you have to like super delay your mid, and you have to get the specific timing to where they get shimmied by the back one, or they're just gonna mash down one. If you walk them down with a high, they're gonna poke under the high. The other thing is if you do down one and then you go into your mid, they'll be able to block the mid because you didn't time it right or something. The other thing too is that your throw is a high, so they can delay their down one to a point to where like you try to delay your throw, they duck your throw, and then they down one you. And then finally, when you finally do successfully get the throw, let's say you throw them out of the button, their finger could be on the button where they're mashing down one, and they can tech out of your throw. So now a lot of people will tell you, okay, well, there's an easy solution to this. First of all, find your mid timing. I mean, sure, man, like you can find your mid timing, but like the thing is they're just going to mix up their down ones, and you're never really going, you might shimmy them 1 out of 50, you know, 1 out of 50 times, sorry. 1 out of like every 5 times you do it, because like the timing of their down one is so strict. Like it just depends on when they're going to down one you, right? The other issue is that if you go for a throw, right? If you go for a forward throw, they're just going to tech it. So you want to do a back throw. But now you're in this situation where, like, let's say you put them in the corner and you want to shimmy them. Well, if you try to shimmy them with a forward throw, they're going to tech out of the corner, and now you're just back to square one. And if you go to throw them backwards, you lose the corner, which is the whole point of Frost and Johnny, is to get you in the corner, right? They don't have auto shimmies, so they have to get you in the corner and shimmy you the traditional way. So this is just a huge component. And then on top of that, your throw could whiff because they could just duck it and down one you. Not even intending to do it. Maybe they delay their down one so much that they duck and down one you, which is another component I really don't like about MK. Throws should be mids. I've said this forever. I don't care that like throws are more powerful in MK11. You can react to them. People are mashing down one and getting out of throws. Like, I don't think that matters. I think throws being mids are fine. They're 100% fine if they become mids and people have to backdash or short hop or jump them. I think it's just gonna make all the characters more powerful, and you have to actually guess strike throw like the game was designed to do. Now, some characters like Frost are remedied in the fact that at least they get a crushing blow. So even if you're teching forward, I throw you backward, you know, I get the load of crushing blow. So you have to guess next time. But even that's not like a guaranteed offense thing. It's just, you know, you teched wrong and now I have access to a powerful option. It doesn't necessarily mean that the option's going to resolve, right? But like that's kind of been my issue with MK11. I've noticed this, like, because for the longest time I was trying to figure out, I was like, why can I not traditionally shimmy people in this game? It's so hard to do. Like sometimes, right? Sometimes I can do it. You know, if this guy finally, like, you know, if this guy's like, all right, dude, I'm gonna mash down one every single time, right? So like for example, let's say I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna try to do as perfect as one I can do. I think this one she'll even get poked. No, she won't. Okay. So hold on. I'm trying to do it right. Yeah. Okay. So this is the right time. Wait, see, there you go. Like. But like, let's just say he's delaying his down one slightly, right? Which is what this is like. Because this would be closer to him mashing down one immediately. Even there, you could see he was able to block. Hold on, let me throw this one out. Okay, real quick. Okay, yeah. So that one's if he's trying to tech and down one. So so that's a perfect example, right? She's delaying her back one. Which all you have to do, right, is now I'm delaying my attempt to tech and down one you. See? I'm delaying it and now it's all changing. But it doesn't matter. So let's just say she delays it, and I'm not delaying it, I'm just mashing as soon as you walk up. So let's say Frost does that, right? So the thing about that, right, specifically is that anytime you throw out that mid, and you delay the mid, right, and you walk them down and everything, sometimes that's gonna work because the player is going to respect the back one, right? They're gonna respect the fact that you're trying to shimmy them, whatever, all that stuff, right? But the problem is, what happens is you get in this situation, like the thing is they can always still react to your throw, right? So like if Frost here does like down one, and they're just waiting, right? If I'm just waiting, I'm just, okay, that obviously doesn't look like a throw, right? So like what the Frost player has to do is they have to walk you down and then do a throw, right? Which, if they've already conceded that you're gonna do back one, it's gonna become easier, right? Because even if I do like, let's say I do like down one, you know, I'm gonna do like super delayed ones. Watch, I'll show you. And then you just do like, you know, random playback. There we go. The tech window is so high. That actually got shimmied, but it didn't matter because I did the tech OS. No, that one I got hit. What? Why didn't it come up? Why is it not coming up? Man, I'm not doing a good example of showing this. I get shimmied. I get traditionally shimmied. But as you can see, like if Johnny is just sitting here, man, I'm not doing a good example of explaining this. But if a good player, right? Like a really good player that can react really well, right? Like if they're just sitting there waiting for the throw, there's not really much you can do except back throw them. Like you could delay it as long as you want. I mean, eventually, well, it depends. Some good players, it depends. It really does depend. Like there's been players I play, like they'll just tech on reaction. They don't really care that they've lost. You've lost your turn at this point. They're not gonna mash. Other players will like do a jab. They'll do like a stand one string and punish you. Some players will down one you. But from as far as I'm concerned, like once you're walking them down for so long, like they're just looking to react to the throw. So like it's one of those things like you can't really traditionally shimmy them from other fighting games. I don't know if I've been spoiled from other fighting games, just the fact that you can't react, you know? So you kind of always have to make the guess no matter how long the walk down is. Like you still have to make the guess. You know, you have to make the guess when they're going to throw because they could just walk right outside of throw range or delay their button and you're dead, right? But I feel like in this game, like it's just harder to do like even if you walk them down for a long period of time, they're still looking to react to the throw. So like you're not going to get your throw. You know what I mean? Like I guess you could walk them down and throw plus frames down their throat again. So like, you know, if I'm Frost, I could probably walk them down and do, that's another thing too. Like why does this hit high when he's ducking? Because if I walk someone down, see like he's just gonna down one there. Hold on. Oh, of course. Hold on. So that, this is an example. He's just gonna down one there. This happens all the time. I go for plus frames because I'm like, okay, the guy is like expecting the throw, so I've got to mix up my walk down, right? And I go to mix up my walk down by doing stand 2, and the first hit's a high, so he just down ones out of it. On reaction, he just down ones out of it because he sees a button coming out and then he down ones. And if I threw him, he would have teched that. See what I'm saying? Like it's just weird. Like I don't quite understand at least traditional shimmying in MK11. If I were to pick an auto shimmy character or like a zoner, like when you're zoning, you don't this doesn't come up, right? Like because you're playing neutral with zoning. With zoning, you throw them, they're like, okay, like they tech the throw, okay, they don't tech the throw, whatever. You're gonna go back to zoning. It doesn't matter, right? But with a character like Frost is a footsie character, but the thing is, she still needs shimmying mind games. The fact that she has 11 frame mid, long range down 4, she has a decent down 1 that reaches really far, and then on top of that, she's got like this weird kind of interaction where her stand 1 whiffs so much that like you can actually get shimmied by it. I think that Frost can be a very decent strike throw character if the player knows how to traditionally shimmy with her. But the issue isn't her. The issue is MK11's design. At least how they focus on like shimmying and like how strike throw works in general. So that's just something I wanted to mention. I don't know what the solution to this is. I'm gonna watch other players play. I want to kind of see what everyone's kind of you know, how they kind of approach this issue, because this is an issue I've had for fucking like hundreds of hours at this point. I don't quite understand exactly how shimmying works in the game. I do my best at shimmying people. I still get, you know, I'm still pretty decent at it, at least when it comes to like traditional shimmying, but like this is just something I can't really shake, you know. And it's not me losing my turn to down ones. I feel like sometimes people think that like when I talk about like mechanics like this, I'm like making complaints that like I'm losing offense. I get that a lot. I've noticed that. That's not really what I'm saying. What I'm more so saying is that like I feel like I don't quite understand what you do when you walk someone down and they're just expecting you to forward throw them. Like you could back throw them, but if you back throw them, you're losing real estate. It doesn't matter what you like, it doesn't matter. You're losing real estate. If they're in the corner and you walk them down to get that offense to throw them, if you don't back throw them, if you don't back throw them, you're not getting damage. If you do back throw them, you're losing your offense. So I don't quite understand like what the design is there. Only thing I can think of is you just got to throw them out of the corner, you know? But anyway, I figured I'd share this. This is something I definitely have been wanting to talk about for a while. Hopefully you guys learned a lot from this particular video. So you guys have fun playing fighting games. Have a good fight, and I'll see you guys later.